Hello, sir.
Okay, today's topic is one of the most important infection control practices which we have learned in the last lecture, and that is the biomedical waste management. Why it is so important? Why do we need to take care of these waste? We are going to learn in the today's lecture. So at the end of this lecture, you all should be able to define what is biomedical waste. Then you should also able to segregate this biomedical waste in an appropriate color code bags. Very important, because if you do not segregate as per their category, then you are increasing the chances of mixing the infectious, non-infectious, plus biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So it is very important to segregate, separate the biomedical waste which is generated during patient care in an appropriate color code bags. This is very important, and there are few color codes which we are using for segregation of this biomedical waste management. Why do we need to do? To reduce the infectious waste. What will happen if I mix the non-infectious waste with the infectious waste? The overall infectious waste will increase twofold, threefold, right? So we don't want to increase the infectious waste. So that is why we need to segregate in the appropriate color code bags. Before I should start the segregation process and all that, I would like to all of you to know what is the biomedical waste. So this is the scientific definition which is taken from this reference Government of India Ministry of Environment and Forest Gazette notification. Okay, so what is the meaning of biomedical waste? Biomedical waste is defined as any waste, okay, any waste which is generated during the diagnosis or treatment or immunization of human beings or even the animals, or sometimes in the research activities pertaining thereto, or in the production of testing of biologicals. So any waste, when we are seeing the patient for any clinical diagnosis or for treatment or immunization. Now we know that we are, as I said last time also, we are waiting for immunization of against COVID-19. So lots of waste is generated during immunization also. Certain animal experiments are also being done, and that is also lots of waste is generated, and that is under the biomedical. Why biomedical waste? Because it has a potential to make it infectious. Okay, so this is the definition of the biomedical waste. Any waste which is generated during the diagnosis, treatment, immunization of human beings or animals or in research activities pertaining thereto, or in the production of testing of biologicals, and that has the potential to infect the community. There are certain categories in the biomedical waste. Total 10 categories are there. Okay, 10 categories are there. First category is the human anatomical waste. If you consider yourself, then generally the extracted tooth can be considered as the human anatomical waste. But if we are considering the overall medical waste or generated in the hospitals, lots of tissues, organs or body parts are considered as a category 1, and that is under the human anatomical waste. Then second one is the animal waste. Now this animal waste generally includes those animals which are used in the research, like for example in the clinical, in the trials on the animals before it should be given to the humans. So that research or any other research, animal research, and it is generally originating from the veterinary hospitals or animal houses. We have animal houses in big hospitals to find out the pathogenicity of a particular pathogen in that animal. So that waste is also infectious waste and can come under the biomedical waste, and that is in the category 2. Then category 3 is the microbiological waste or the biotechnological waste. What does it mean? When you have received the samples in your lab in the microbiological investigation, you are cultivating those specimens into the lab and you are growing the microorganism which has the potential to infect, having the infections. Okay, so those waste, biomedical waste, are coming under the category 3. Then category 4 is generally waste sharps. Generally nowadays you are taking vaccines for COVID-19. The sharps are generated like needles that has to be taken care of properly, okay, to avoid the needle stick injuries. And there are chances of getting infection from patient to doctor or from doctor to patient through these needle stick injuries. So we need to take care of these waste sharps, and that is under the category 4. And then category 5 is the discarded medicines. What happens when, or cytotoxic drugs, of course, this is very important. What happens when you have given medicine to the patient and there are only 1 or 2 tablets remain? You need to remove those tablets and discard into a yellow bag, okay, because it can be used by anyone else. It is not infectious, but then it will have other effects, so we have to take care of that also. And of course the one who is on the cytotoxic drugs, that needs to be taken care of, because these drugs can have harmful effect onto the other people. Then the category 6 is the soiled waste. Soiled waste means what? The atoms contaminated with the blood or body fluids, including your cotton dressings, linen, plaster cast and bedding. These will come under the soiled waste. Okay, so soiled waste is nothing but whatever is blood and body fluids generated during patient care, their cotton which is used during dressing, linens or the other things. Then there is a solid waste. This is category 7. What are the solid waste? Waste generated from disposable items other than waste sharps, such as tubings, catheters and IV sets. If you have visited the hospitals, you might have seen these tubings, catheters, IV sets which are there with the patient. So that can come under the solid waste. That also needs to be taken care of. Okay. Then the liquid waste, which is category 8. And what are the liquid waste? Waste generated from washing, cleaning, housekeeping and disinfection activities, including these activities in the lab. So those waste which are generated in the lab in the form of liquid waste will be considered as the category 8. And these categories needs to be treated separately. You cannot mix these category of waste together. They have to be segregated as per their nature, whether it is biodegradable. You know this meaning. Biodegradable means what? The waste which is generally degrade when you bury. Biodegradable. Okay, so this is biodegradable, means any waste which can be buried will be degraded easily. So that is biodegradable. And non-biodegradable is generally plastics. Plastics are the non-biodegradable. So you cannot mix the plastic waste with the biodegradable waste. Okay, so this has to be segregated properly as per their category, whether it is biodegradable or non-biodegradable. Then incineration ash. Whenever you are incinerating the pathological material, infectious material, even the nowadays in the COVID-19 bodies have been burned, right? So that ash needs to be taken care as a category type 9. And the finally category type 10 is the chemical waste. So we are using certain chemicals for production of biologicals and disinfection. So that needs to be categorized under the category number 10. So this is all about the different categories of biomedical waste. this is very important to know what is the quantum of waste. The quantity of biomedical waste generated per bed per day, this is very important, will vary depending upon the type of health problems. If a person is having the highly infectious agent in his or her body, so that person, when the physicians or clinicians, surgeons taking care, they are generating lots of infectious waste. So it depends upon the type of the health problem. If a person is diabetic and got admitted, he or she will not generate lots of waste, but that's the one which is like the current pandemic COVID-19 will generate lots of infectious waste. So it depends upon the type of health problems, and that too per bed per day. This is also defined. If you increase this, then there will be a fine also. So the type of care provided and the hospital waste management practices. Okay, so what are the quantum of waste? It varies from 1 to 2 kg in developing countries like us. We are developing countries, and what is there in the developed countries, it is 4.5 in the developed countries. Why? Because they do not use, they use single use devices. That is why this waste is much higher as compared to the developing countries. We believe in recycling, we believe in reuse, and that is fine unless you are not injecting any infection to the patient. If you are sure that you are reusing with appropriate disinfection and sterilization practices, so you can reuse those items. That is why in developing country it is 1 to 2 per day per bed, okay, kg of course, and in the western countries it is, or developed countries, it is 4.5 kg. And why it is so? Because they are using single use items. 10 to 15% of the waste is infectious. So whenever in the developed countries, of course, whereas in India, basically in developing countries, 45 to 50% is the infectious waste requiring spatial handling, because look at the burden, 10 to 15% and 45 to 50%, quite high. So you have to take the spatial care of handling these waste. While handling, the person should not suffer from any infections, so he or she has to wear the personal protective equipment and barrier precautions not to get infection to himself or herself. So infective waste was found to be only 6% at Command Hospital, Air Force, Bangalore. So why it is so then? What is happening? The people who are involved in the generating waste, even the high consultant doctors or the paramedics, they are not having the knowledge, or even they are having the knowledge, they are mixing the non-infectious waste in the infectious waste, and that is why supposed to be 6%, it is now becoming 50% almost. So it is the mistake of the person who is generating the waste. Okay, so we have to be very careful while mixing non-infectious waste with the infectious waste. Now coming to the hazards of the infectious waste. What are the different hazards? There must be some hazard associated with the biomedical waste. The following properties of biomedical waste make it hazardous. Why? First and foremost, it is infectious. Now in cases of COVID-19, it is highly infectious, so you have to take care of that biomedical waste. Or if you are handling the oral diseases patient, you are generating lots of splashes, that could be infectious. So you need to follow the biomedical waste management properly. Okay, then it could be injurious, it could be cytotoxic. As I said, there are certain drugs which are anti-nuclear, and if you touch those cytotoxic drugs, you will have the deleterious effect. And of course there is a hazard due to the chemicals. If you are using hypochlorite solution in the lab or in the hospital, which is the most commonly used solution, if that splashes on your body or in your eyes, you will get lots of injuries. So the chemical injuries or chemical hazard is also associated with the biomedical waste generation and management. So what do we need to do? We have to segregate that waste as per their category 1 to 10. We know now which category waste we are generating, so we have to segregate these waste as per their category. Do not mix these infectious and non-infectious together. Plus, Do not mix the biodegradable and non-biodegradable infectious waste I'm talking. So you have to take care of both level. Do not mix the infectious with the non-infectious, and neither the plastic with the non-plastic items or the biodegradable items. Both are should not be done. Okay. And what you need to do after segregation as per their category, you need to dispose of sub-disposable. What does it mean? When I'm generating in my ward, I should segregate a place in that ward in the corner to keep safely, and then finally you have to give it to the final disposal, and this is taken by a appointed institute by the local government. Like in the Pune Municipal Corporation we have PASCO. Okay, this institute generally take the biomedical waste and they take it to their unit, and what they do, they treat these waste as per their categories. If it is first category, that is human anatomical waste, they generally incinerate. Incinerate is burning. Okay, so this is biomedical waste category 1. So depending upon what type of category, they will process that waste as per their category. Now look at here the same which I have narrated in the previous slide. Category 1 consists of the human anatomical waste, generally the human tissues, organs or body parts. So what is the treatment and disposal method? Incineration or deep burial. Sometimes now you have see, there are set beliefs in certain religions. Like in my religion, we don't burn our bodies. So what do we do then? If a person is positive for COVID-19, so we have to bury it in the deep burials. Okay, or in Hindu tradition you can incinerate the body. Anyway you have to incinerate, and that's why you can incinerate if it is potentially infectious. Okay, second category is the animal waste, and what you do, same as of the category type 1, either you incinerate or deep burial. Then microbiological waste, which is under category 3, you need to autoclave. Why you need to autoclave? Because the microbiological waste or biotechnological waste will have the infectious agents. So that is why we need to autoclave. And what does autoclave do? It kills all the microorganisms including the spore. You can also use microwaving, and you can also do the incineration, but better you do it first autoclaving. Autoclaving is effective. Incineration is also effective, but you can culture microbial culture, you have to autoclave with the plastic itself. Okay, they are generally cultivated on the plastic plate, so you have to autoclave them. Incineration ke what will happen? It will generate lots of toxic gases, so we don't incinerate the plastics. Okay, so we have to do the autoclaving. And what do we do with the category 4, which is the sharp waste? It should be disinfected by the chemical treatment. I have told you the most commonly used what you can say chemical is hypochlorite solution, which is 1%. Okay, 1% hypochlorite solution is used, and that is used for disinfection by the chemical treatment. Sometimes the without sharp, the syringes needs to be autoclaved because they come under in the plastic, or the other sharps, metal sharps, should be disinfected with the appropriate chemical agents. So we are ensuring that the sharps are disinfected prior to given to the final disposal. Then coming to the category 5, discarded medicines and cytotoxic drugs. What do we do? Generally we incinerate these drugs, and destruction and drugs disposal in the secured landfills. You can also discard into the secured landfills. And the soiled waste, the one which is like bloody cotton, dressings, plaster, linens, which are soaked with the or contaminated with the blood and body fluids, what do? We generally incinerate, or we can also do the autoclaving, or we can also do the microwaving. So these 3 methods are used as a treatment and disposable for category 6. And for category 7, which is the actually the solid waste, which is disposable. Solid waste generally plastic, which is infectious and non-infectious also. Infectious, blood bag or the tubings which have been used for intubation for the patient, or Foley's catheter used for urine collection. And the solid waste which is non-infectious is the saline bottle. Saline bottle is it cannot be infectious waste, but still you need to segregate this solid waste which is non-infection and infectious separately, and you should label it. What is there in the category 8? What we do as for the treatment and disposal? It is generally a liquid waste which comes under 8, which we generally disinfect by chemical method and discharge into drainage. We can discharge into a drainage, okay. And then the ash, which is under category 9, should be disposed of in the landfills which is created by the municipal corporation, local bodies. And finally, the chemical waste which is under category 10 should be again treated with the chemical treatment, and it should be discharged into drains for liquids and secured landfills. So this is how all the category of waste and their category are either treated with the chemical disinfectant or the autoclaving, and then they are disposed of. So this is how we have to perform the final disposal of. Okay. Now, what are the different color codes? These color codes are very important. So first color code used is the yellow bag. All biodegradable waste. Now you know what is biodegradable. The one which is buried should get easily degraded, such as human body parts, bloody cotton, dressing, plaster, expired medicine, and of course the human body parts, which I have already referred, which goes into the yellow bag. And what they do with the yellow bag? They generally incinerate, because it is the biodegradable waste. Incinerate, okay, biodegradable waste. So what they do? They incinerate. And in the second category, second color code, it is the red. All non-biodegradable waste, such as syringes without needles, okay, without needles, syringes. I'm not sharp, has to be separated, segregated in different puncture-proof container. Then the IV lines, catheters, blood bags, Euro bags, gloves, all plastic items which are non-biodegradable will be discarded into the red bag. So this is very important. Remember this. Yellow is all biodegradable waste and red is all non-biodegradable waste. And black is for generally non-infectious waste. When we go to meet the patient, we take flowers, right? Or we take the coconut water. So we have to discard this into a non-infectious color code, that is the black. Okay. So now here you can see the clear picture of the different color codes. You can see here in the black. In the black, what we do? We generally discard. Here it is shown the medicines also without wrappers. Of course, you can discard into the black, but the one which is cytotoxic drugs must be discarded into the yellow bag, because those are injurious or hazardous to the community, whoever is handling the waste. We know we have a big problem in our India. The people who collects the waste from the garbages, those people are higher risk. So whenever you are discarding the medicines, better you discard into the yellow bag, and specifically the cytotoxic drugs. Otherwise, you remove the wrapper and you can discard into the black bag by crushing or just making a powder, so that it should not be reused. Then the infected waste is either into the red bag, which is the generally the plastic which is non-biodegradable, or the biodegradable, which is like human body part or the other dressings, etc., or microbiological waste can also be discarded into the yellow bag. Remember, red bag is generally for non-biodegradable and yellow bag is generally for biodegradable. And what do we do with the biodegradable bag? Either we deep burial or we can incinerate. But in red bag, either you can autoclave or deep burial. Generally, autoclave is preferred. What is the blue? It is the international code, and it is generally used for the infectious and non-infectious plastic basically. Okay. And then sharp should be into the puncture-proof container. Why puncture-proof container? If you discard into the bag, plastic bag, it might come out of that bag and it may give needless injury to the person who is handling. So you should never put it into a bag. You should put it into a puncture proof container. So this is all about the biomedical waste management.